couldn't be satisfied with a feast of lard and long ashen hair. Tusha, you coming? Yes, just a moment. Good morning, YouTube. My name is Fidica, and today we're going to be playing Tiny Bunny. Now, you thought a bunny couldn't be scary, but this bunny right here is quite terrifying. And this is a graphic novel visual horror game, and it's been out, I think, almost a year now. It's got 2 episodes of 5 created, and we're jumping into episode 1, so new game. See what it's all about. The wind clawed at my window all night long. It wandered the fields and howled like a hungry beast. An endless song weaved from all sorts of voices, shrill, gentle, sneery, twined in the wind. They were shouting and laughing and arguing about something. Someone was running through the snow while casting long shadows that would occasionally creep close to my bed. Oh God, I skipped. Go back. Our house has the mind of its own, the creaky old mind of a building that has seen lots in its days and was seemingly trying to share its wisdom on its inhabitants. Alright, sorry guys, I won't do that again. I promise. The lonely house faced the forest, and the dark green thicket gazed back with its hollow eyes, rustling, whizzing, swaying back and forth. One could come out and stand at the edge of the forest to reassure themselves there was nobody behind the crooked trees. Fuzzy silhouettes swaying in the wind couldn't possibly do any harm. It's just a play of light and shadow. Just the play. I'm sure it is. I knew it was just my imagination. I was already 12 after all. Still what? Episode 1. The owl will arrive. Somebody having tea? Maybe I'm supposed to click. Oh, I was supposed to click. Big dummy me. Oh, they're having breakfast. Hey, there's...
Убери книгу немедленно.
Hey, put away your book.
Сколько раз говорила, не читай
Wait
за
a
столом,
minute.
вредно.
Hold up.
Сидишь, сутулил.
Okay, Mom. How many times have I told you not to read at the table? It's bad for your health. Look at how you slouched you are. I'm sorry. Sorry, Mom. Hide. Oh, okay, I guess I'll put it away. I didn't protest, and I put the book away about Conan and the Barbarian aside. I was stuck on a line I couldn't understand after reading it 3 times anyways. Ula had already finished her breakfast and was munching on some cookies. She was so enthusiastic, she almost looked like your typical girl from commercials. You're not going anywhere until you finish all that. I, on the other hand, was still trying to drill a hole in the plate with my eyes, as if it would make the porridge disappear. Hazy anxiousness welled up inside, all because of the previous sleepless night, the black forest around our house, and the gloomy wind. The longer I waited, the colder the lumpy white substance became. It looked like a jellyfish from the Kutsia Odyssey. I love that show. I wonder how horrifying the bottom of the ocean is. Oceans are scary. Oceans and space, 2 big no-nos. Or how cold the Black Forest is at night. What is wrong with you, kid? You're 12? You got some issues. Oh! The spoon fell out of my hand. Oh no. Pooh. Mom showered me with a cold glare in her green eyes. What did I just say? I'll get it. Oh. I had 10 seconds to catch my breath before battling the nasty porridge once again. I felt around for the spoon. What is this? Carved on the other side of the table. Karina? Ha! That's my mom's name. I guess she carved it out with something pointy when she was little. She sure was a rascal, damaging the furniture like, who are you? Grandma! Hey, we found Grandma. I imagined my grandma coming into my little mom's room, sitting at the edge of her bed where Ula sleeps nowadays, and saying this in her soft, smooth voice. Taiga is a special place, little girl. It's watching you closely, sniffing you out, trying to discern what kind of beast you are. If you're a good sort, it won't abandon you in times of trouble. But if you're a bad apple, it'll grab you by the side and drag you under the ground. And that would be it. Grandma was caring. She never fought with anybody, never yelled, never swore. Those were the times without the maddening screams until late at night, without smashed dishes and mutual accusations. Our parents used to love each other back then. I remember listening in on one of their conversations by chance. They were talking about Grandma getting prepared for her funeral. She had already bought a casket, and she called it her cute funeral box. It waited for its time in the closet, patiently. It was black, upholstered with meat-colored material on the inside. I saw it when my grandma was getting buried. The house didn't change since the time she was alive, only all the photos were gone. Glass covered pictures with gray faces of my ancestors. They all had a dead but watchful look in their eyes. I crawled out from under the table. Ola was done with her cookies, and she was looking at my share like a sly woodland critter. I turned my gaze toward the frosted window. There were a lot of dark pines outside, but they didn't grab my attention. The pattern of frost formed a picture on the glass. Oh, hey, that's from the reading. Ola, look, it's a fox. Where? It almost looked like one of those obstacle illusion thingies, but they put back in student notebooks. A mixture of lines at first glance, but if you blur your vision a little bit. Is there anything spooky in this? Or is just this a wolf? Or fox, or whatever? And look at a certain angle. Not outside, on the window. Look, here's the nose, and here's... Hey, eat up. Yes, just a moment. I don't see anything. Oh, I don't see anything. Hurry up, there's not much left. Ah, there it is, but it still doesn't look like one. And I'm telling you, it does. I'm telling you, Ola, it's a fox. Don't you see it? It's the face and the nose. It's all right there. It's right there in your face. Nuh-uh. It is. I just told you. It's right there, damn it. Stop it. These kids, I swear. Now, I couldn't see the fox either. Okay, this kid's mad. He needs to be admitted right now. It disappeared. Went away. Only the frosty pattern similar to stretched out nettle leaves kept creeping up the glass. Oh, hey! Damn, you one good looking man. My dad entered the kitchen with his long, measured steps. I want to have a beard like his when I grow up. Yeah, don't we all? Mom would always ask jokingly, "Come on, shave it off, it stings." This was so long ago. Nowadays, rumbling doors and witty comebacks were an everyday occurrence. Ola always covers her ears whenever she hears something like, "What's the point in all this?" through the wall. "It's all for your sake," Dad would reply, "for the sake of our family." I always caught every sound in fear of hearing the most dreaded, the deadliest word that started with a D. D-I-V-O? I don't even want to finish it. Devo? Question mark? Alright. It was scary to imagine that me and my... Oh! Divorce! Ah! My little sister could be torn apart and taken into two different families. Anyway, your fox is nothing. I have an owl on my window. You and your owl talk again. You said you believed me just yesterday. Has anyone seen my car keys? I remember leaving them on the windowsill. Right. Maybe you did. Maybe not. You're a grown man, a father of two, and still. Karina, please stop. Just let me get ready in peace. Your keys are in the basket near the phone. Well, thank you very much. Anton, stop making a mockery out of yourself and finish eating already. But the owl. There was no owl. But there was one. It had giant glowing eyes. Oh my God. Thought this was a peaceful story. I was getting into it. Oh my God. Ola sprung up from her chair and placed her hands on her little face, imitating a pair of eyes with her fingers the size of an apple each. Last year you had Bobby in your closet. Now this owl. But I saw it. What's... Oh. Bobby and Sal... Oh, I'm sorry, I can't speak. Salivika? Folklore, a nocturnal spirit used by parents to threaten their ill-behaving children. Alright, I don't want to see Bobby. Hopefully he's not around the corner anywhere. Okay. But I saw it. Ola shifted her gaze back and forth from Dad to Mom to me, but couldn't find any support. Have you thought about befriending it? You know, like feeding it with imaginary mice? Don't bully our girl. She's just afraid to sleep alone because she's little. Ola pouted her lips in rebellion and rushed into the hallway. The staircase that led to the second floor creaked. Oh, Mama mad. Mama pissed. Mama mad. Mama gave Dad a strict look. Oh, that look in her eyes. It's so uncomfortable to be pinned down under. Dad just snorted and replied and left, ringing with the keys he just found. A minute had passed and the theme song from Little Mermaid echoed throughout the house. It was stored on an incredible worn-out cassette tape, which Dad already had to glue together once. It's so easy to fix objects by gluing them back together, for example. But how do you fix a relationship? Can't answer that one for you. Mom moved to the living room and I was left alone, anxiously stealing glances at the window. Ola had trouble sleeping ever since we moved to this house. She would toss and turn or curl up into a ball under the blanket. Sometimes she would jump up in the middle of the night and turn on the VCR. Cartoons helped to take her mind off all the troubles we had with the move and our parents. Oh, there's the owl. That's not... I thought we were talking about a friendly-looking owl. Why are you crying? And then Ola said she saw that giant flying monster outside her window. She became obsessed with it. Our parents did everything in their power. They tried every little trick to get rid of those ridiculous fears. Ola refused to sleep alone and didn't believe that the owl was just one of her nightmares. After last night, I was unsure to I was unsure what to make of my sister's words, what to think of it myself. Can nightmares be infectious? That night, I couldn't get a wink of sleep and ended up thinking of what to expect from my new school. I mean, your room is just not very inviting. There was a couple of days left before the beginning of a new term. My imagination drew long, twisting hallways that led to a classroom full of kids. But all the students behind their desks were simply dark figures, cut out using a template. Circular holes gaped in the middle of their faces, and a pair of eyes blinked inside those holes. It was as if someone completely different creatures were looking at me from behind the flat black chalettes. Their cruel glares filled with icy sneers made me shiver from head to toe. Will I survive here? Well, I mean, you know how it is. Won't they gang up on me and beat me down, stomp on me with their bloody shoes? Well, that sounds like school. All those damn kids. Oh, the damn school can burn for all I care. I just wish for anything to happen to it. Doesn't really matter what. I didn't want to go there that badly. I didn't want to see people who are just itching to smack me on the head, trip me, think of a new offensive name for me, worse than the previous one. I felt like the glasses I wore made me an outsider, some sort of monster. My gaze slid across the drawings hanging on the wall. Kitty! I couldn't consider myself a great artist, but Ola begged me to hang them. Drawing was the only thing that made me happy as of late. The small circle of friends I had also enjoyed my paintings, and they promised to call me from time to time. Sometimes I imagined Mom picking up the phone and saying in a cold voice, "You've got the wrong number." Or, "Anton is not around." Anton is not around. I imagine my future classmates lying in their beds, just like me, listening to the howls of invisible werewolves outside their windows. Maybe my new classmates will be like me after all. There is a lot of hope coming from me that they are nothing like you, Anton. But who would ever like a boy with thick glasses? I mean, my dad used to wear glasses when he was little, and now he's married to the most beautiful woman on the planet, my mom. The house creaked, pressed by the wind. Hello? Someone there? Anyways, back to the story. The condo we used to live in, a 9-floor concrete building, buzzed with the neighbor's drill, mumbled with the TV set from behind the wall, cried like a baby from the big family next door. Who's squeakity squonkity? Our current house, though, I can't really call it new, was completely different. No? That's not just me hearing that, right? I'm not going insane. You're going insane. It was silent and easygoing during the day. Its shadows lay dormant in the corners of the closet cobwebs and under the stairs. But they all woke up during the night. Something was watching me from every corner. Over here? You watching me? Who's watching me? Almost as if the old photos of my deceased family with their ashen eyes were hanging on the walls in place of my drawings. The floor was squeaking. Rusty drains were moaning. The attic was occupied by noisy drafts. One could think the house was performing some sort of demonic melody. And then I realized I was, in fact, hearing music. It was already playing for a good while. Somewhere at the edge of my perception, I could hear a flute. It was mixed in with the sound of the wind, of the creaking old house, and my thoughts, too. I stood up and rushed to the window. I wanted to reassure myself that the music was nothing more than a product of my imagination. It's not like someone is playing it there amidst the cold, snowy night. Right? Right, guys? All right, let's check it out. Oh, that's bright. My eyeballs. What the hell is that? Someone was dancing in the field. Black silhouettes could barely make out with the dark forest as their backdrop. They jumped around, basked in moonlight, bumped into piles of snow, rolled around, and crawled on all fours. Stories about wolves playing under the moon came to mind, but these were clearly not wolves. That man is flying. Look at them jumps. LeBron James out here. They stood upright at times, circled around holding their hands and whipping up snow, disappearing into the shadows for a brief moment, then coming back. Something bizarre was going on. Shadows dancing in the starless abyss made my imagination go wild, making me anxious at the same time. Suddenly, the music stopped. No! The dancing shadows froze in place, and I could swear pierced me with their eyes. One of the silhouettes immediately parted from the bizarre shadow carnival and sprinted across the field with giant leaps. Okay, buddy. It glided on squeaky snow without leaving any prints until it was devoured by the pitch-black shadow of my house, which became even darker and thicker. My heart was jumping around like a bird inside a cage. I shut the curtains with a swift motion and stepped back into the bed. They saw me. A freezing torrent of fear washed over me. I stood in the middle of a perfectly dark room and listened to some unwanted guest move and scrape around looking for an entrance. A sound moved to the right and circled around the house. Now my guess should be at the front door. I jumped into the bed, covered myself with the blanket as if I could protect myself. The shackles of fear locked my muscles. I remembered the funeral, my grandma lying there, hands crossed on her chest, her facial features sharp like that of a tin doll. Ants running up and down the legs of chairs that held my grandma's casket. I imagined those little creatures climbing up head and pulling her eyelids with their tiny legs. Then her wrinkly eyeballs would once again move into their sockets. She was able to see her grandchildren. If this kid is not disturbed, I don't know who is. I was chanting the spell she taught me throughout the whole procedure. And now, lying under the blanket and listening to squeaks and howls, I was repeating the same words. On the island of Booyah, underneath the blemished sun and the sea of color blue, stands a cabin made of wood. Evil leave this house must. Ashes to ashes, dust to dust. Bizarre sounds had disappeared. I cautiously peeked out from under the blanket and saw curtains waving around like hanged men. And then the night dozed me with a new portion of boiling terror. The sound scratched at my eardrums. In reality, something or someone was scratching at the front door, hurriedly crawling at the wood, demanding to be let in. The door was shut. Dad had become very cautious recently, so he installed a sturdy lock. I remember him staring at the forest intently as if he was looking for someone. Ashes to ashes, dust to dust! I hugged my knees, placing my chin between them and drilled the door with my eyes. It was so flimsy and weak before the night of darkness. Okay. I got one knee up. One knee's up, boys. Oh, okay, I can't do it anymore. Sorry. My legs are too long. And then... Oh, don't zoom in. Oh, the doorknob twitched slightly. Then it turned halfway once, twice, as if a person who tried to enter had no hands. The doorknob tilted once more and then started clicking violently. Oh, no. My jaw cramped from fear. My wet fingers clutched the blanket. The door creaked and opened. The wind taunted me, moaning inside the tin drains. Now, you'll see. The door was wide open. The darkness withered inside the carnivorous mouth of the doorway. Tony? It was as if the night itself was calling out to me, flapping its black wings and squeaking with rusty hinges. I was trembling and snared by the web of darkness that hung in the corners of my room, waiting for the one who weaved it to come out of the gaping black hole. Tony. My abdomen tightened and my chest rose up, ready to exhale a desperate scream. Ah! Help! But before I was able to do anything, the darkness asked me, Tosha? You asleep? Ah! My sister's pale face protruded from the thick shadows. Hola, why you scaring me like that? Did I just imagine I saw something up there? I want to play that footage back. Definitely thought I saw something there. I almost screamed from relief. Ola? I'm not sleeping. Did something happen? Ola frowned and stuck her lower lip, a clear sign that she was about to cry. It's there again, staring at me. Oh wait, it's there again, staring at me. Shoo her away, Tosha, please. I am so scared. The fear that was tormenting me just a minute ago crawled away and hid somewhere in my stomach. I needed to calm Ola down. It was just a dream, silly. Don't be scared. Dreams don't bite. No one's going to harm you. Ola sobbed. She was trying her best to believe me. But was I sure myself? Not after what I just saw out that window, the party. Maybe we'll go to a party tonight. It seems pretty safe. I have an idea. Let's go to your room and watch the video. Sleeping Beauty, for example. You like that cartoon, don't you? Why does Sleeping Beauty have a prince and I have this scary bird? The question took me by surprise. I mean, it's a valid question. I respect it. Alright, let's watch Cinderella. My thoughts became tangled, fuzzy. What was that? What studied me with its eyes was dancing feverishly under the moon. The darkness was clinging to the window, and it couldn't be fooled by Grandma's old chants. It couldn't be satisfied with a feast of lard and long ashen hair. Tusha, you coming? Yes, just a moment. I told you I saw something in that door. God, scare me again, why don't you? Ah, it's just a dream, just a dream. Just a dream. Wait, what? That's why I didn't want to laugh at Ola and her owl in the morning. Oh, that was last night. Oh, okay, so we're back in reality. Who could be visiting us here? In the middle of nowhere? We don't know anyone around here. I hear you. Mommy's coming. Mommy's going to the door. So persistent. I felt extremely unsettled just from the silly thought that our morning guest could have come from the woods. Those the foxes dancing in the night out there coming to say hello? I could barely hear their voices coming from the front door. My mind was urging me to hide. In the closet? Under the table? Behind the curtains? Where Ola always hides? Tosha, come here. I felt like kettlebells were tied to my feet, but still dragged them toward the hallway. Is that the police? A couple of policemen towered over me in the doorway. They smelled like frost and worry. My mom always winced and grumbled in the moment she saw patrol cars, worse than bandits. At the moment, though, she looked somewhat confused. Hello? The senior officer, who wore a grim expression, nodded. A boy has gone missing yesterday. His name's Vova. Look at this, please. Have you seen him? The policeman held out a photograph to me. Oh, kitty. There was a ginger boy around the age of elementary school, pictured with wall carpet as the backdrop. He had a striped cat in his hands and wore a wide smile. No, I haven't. Yep, I ain't seen no one. No one looks like that, buddy. Sorry. Are you sure? Look closely. Where would I see him? I don't know anyone around here. I barely leave the house. Well, maybe you've seen him from the window. That's right. Your windows look straight at the forest, don't they? The window. Oh, I haven't seen anything. Nothing at all. No boys, no foxes, wolves, werewolves, demons. I see. He sounded tired, but his eyes, his stare, long and heavy, was full of suspicion. I squirmed unwittingly under the weight of guilt, which was giant shadow cast over me. The policeman finally tore his eyes from me and glanced over the hallway, the stairway, and the cracks in the ceiling, which I hadn't noticed before for some reason. How do you like your new place, by the way? Getting used to it? Bit by bit. It's just our little daughter. Misses the city a lot. Misses the city, huh? Have the locals been treating you well? Yes, everything's all right, thank you. The policeman pierced through me one more time with his gray eyes. My head started spinning. Can I help you somehow? I asked that in a shaky voice to look like a polite boy and to end this unpleasant conversation sooner. Now that I think about it, you look just like one of my nephews. Little fella. He's a witty boy around your age, wears the same type of goggles. Haha. Always engrossed in reading those mystery novels. Told me that he wants to enroll in police school when his family visited this summer. Wanted to help other people, just like me. See? I felt uncomfortable, as if the distant relative and not a police officer stood before me. You know what? Little boys like you should stay at home, steer away from trouble. The times have changed so much. Mom interjected in a cold voice. You don't say. Ah, well then. What grade are you in? Anton? 6th? Have you made any friends here so far? Not yet. I'll be going to school for the first time after break. Ah, then I'll leave you my number, just in case. Call me if you have any new info. Is he my uncle or is he my father? Is there something going on here between those two? He seemed quite friendly to her. The policemen were gone along with their shadows, the smell of cheap cologne, and the photo of a smiling boy. His face still stood before my eyes. I wonder what it was like for him, being all alone there. For some reason, I thought of the forest swaying in the wind. Whatever that means. And what would my parents do if I'd gone missing? Would they cry and thrash around hysterically? Or would they accuse each other like they always do and forget about me eventually? This sweet face would never forget about me, right? Never forget about me. Mom, this Vova, did he go missing in our forest? Seems like it. Poor child. I looked out the window at the road. The police Uza drove off toward the village. The officer's nephew came to mind when I was splitting off old paint on the windowsill. I remembered all the teenage mystery novels from the Black Kitty series I read about. Soviet Russian off-road freight passenger Black Kitty, series of contemporary Russian original translated teen mysteries. All right. Okay. Your average boys and girls invested all sorts of mysteries there. They looked for clues, spied on suspicious people, and after a set of amazing adventures, bam, solved any complicated case. They became local celebrities and must have made their parents very proud. I noticed a trail of policemen footprints that led to the forest, and then it clicked in my head. Yep. Maybe I'll find that lost boy. I really don't think that's a good idea, Anton. I really think we should stay in our house after what happened last night, and I'll get a reward. Ola will be so happy. Why is Ola gonna be happy? Why would anyone? Not only Ola, Mom, and Dad too. Maybe they'll even forget about their quarrels for a while. Maybe I'll even save them from the D word. I fantasize about buying Ola a Tamichka and getting a cassette player and a bunch of tapes for myself and a whole box of Kinder Surprise. When was the last time our parents bought us any toys? Last autumn, I think. My dad had just lost his job at the time. There's that annoying song about it. I had little to no idea what was the accountant's job like. They count money, I think. Neighbors used to envy us. By nowadays, Mom and Dad barely had money to afford sweets, and Dad would always divide a single chocolate bar between me and Ola. Sometimes I gave her my share, too. That's sad. No matter how much I wanted to eat sweets, she was still just a pipsqueak. I couldn't wait to go out, looking for clues. I'm going outside. Oh, Mama mad. Yeah, right. You want the police to go around with your photograph next? The forest is so thick. What if the boy got snatched up by wild animals or something even worse? Even worse echoed throughout the halls. I won't go far. I'll stay away from the forest. Did you hear what I said, or should I repeat myself? No, Mama. Oh, better go pack your school bag or play with Ola. All right, Mommy. I won't go outside. Splash of water came and meant that the argument was over and Mom had the last word. All right. What's this? Oh, dark, stuffy closet with a murderous-looking axe. Mom says it smells like mice, but how would she know their smell? She hates when I stick my nose in there. She's afraid I'll cut myself off the freshly sharpened axe. And Ola can't even be lured close to it. She thinks Bobby is living there. I tried to help her fight her fears once. I opened the door and turned on a dim lamp. She would see there was nothing but cobwebs, Dad's tools, and scratched walls. She still didn't believe me. And I liked to hide in the closet and listen to Ola count outside. 1, 2, 3. Better find me. Right. and then drag her feet on the creaking floorboards, hoping that she wouldn't need to look for me inside the crammed monster's den. All right, outside. Anton, I'll whip you if you make a single step out that door. All right, Mom. Oh, I need to distract Mom or get scolded or my ass whipped with Dad's litter. Okay. To the kitchen. Lie to Mom. Why are you making that sound, Mom? Turn open? What's in the fridge? Grandma kept ice cream for me and Ola there, but now I can only see meat bits from soup and clumped together pellamine. I grew to hate them already. I don't want to lie to my mom. It was difficult to lie to Mom, but there was no other way for me to run away from home. Whatever. Mom, something's wrong with the TV. The picture is dim, and there's all the stripes all over the screen. Mom's face became visibly distorted. Ah, you're killing me here. So you have had enough of shooting these stupid ducks now? Told you the kinescope will go dim because of your console. Where will we find a TV technician in this hole, huh? Maybe it's just the settings. Please, go see for yourself. Strange. It worked for me fine in the morning. Maybe the snowfall caused it? Mom rubbed her hands clean of her apron and went to Ola's room. All right, I'm making a run for it, boys. Freedom! Freedom! I've ran away from home successfully. Don't try this at home, kids. Oh, man. I opened the front gate and went into the field. Carefully so Mom wouldn't see me from the window. When I crossed half of the distance toward the forest, the snow piles became as high as my knees. I remember my nightly fears. I saw those silhouettes around here. They were jumping around, holding hands. That hypnotizing music started playing in my head all on its own. In the light of day, those distant figures felt like a simple dream. The sun turned my nightmares to ash, but the aftertaste was still there, distant, ringing in my ears, distorted shadows crawling on the snow alongside me, and a barely audible whisper in my head, blurry and almost kind. Oh, okay. Everything was silent. So silent I felt the world was totally empty. No ground, no sky, no parents, no Ola. The time reached its limit, a one-way trip that ended at the forest's piney stockade. Sometimes silence was much scarier than any scream. Our parents would scream at each other while arguing, and both me and Ola turned to stone listening to them. But then they always came, the ringing silence. Our apartment became a numb couple of days before we departed. It was hard to remember the last time Mom and Dad joked around, laughing, or spent time together, almost like all of it was in a previous life. When they kissed with Ola present, she always frowned and snorted in a funny way. But one day it all changed. Something important had left our home, and something scary filled the remaining void. It was as if a fire broke out and our parents were hurriedly packing our belongings, trying to save themselves and us. From who, though? From the people with dead, cold eyes who sometimes visited us in our previous home? The eyes that only saw balls of worms on the black ground and everything? And somewhere far away a siren was going off, trying to warn us of the coming menace. I don't like the silence. I shuddered, chasing away my delusions, and looked around. There was only me, this white field, and the wind that was whipping up icy dust and belts of powdered snow. I squinted from the sun and turned my eyes to the sunless forest. It looked especially dark in contrast with the blinding whiteness. Knobby tree roots slithered under the snow like fat snakes. Rotten leaves and coniferous needles froze onto the ice. Oh, it's a little mitten. Oh. Hi, Mitten. Dry, prickly branches intertwined, bringing up uncomfortably thoughts about fences. Were they protecting the forest? Or were they keeping something from breaking out? I'm gonna go with the latter on that one. Some object was hanging from one of the pointy branches. I tried to get closer, drowning in snow, and when I almost got to the edge of the forest, I saw a knitted mitten. It looked like a wounded bird among the hungering semi-dark. Should I take it to the police? Their senior officer looked gloomy, but he still reminded me of Captain Casavano from my favorite TV show called The Streets of Broken Lights. He was always anxious, with a tired look in his eyes, but still brave and strong. Will this mitten help them find the lost boy? Vova? I heard a distant shout. Looked like it came from the river. Vova! As if the trees were calling out to someone. Vova! It resounded closer to me. Someone was standing there, behind the trees, hiding. Vova! I knew someone was looking for the lost boy, but still, something was unsettling about that figure. Its stillness, how it was bent unnaturally towards the ground. Its blackness. There's no one there, just branches and roots. It's all just my imagination. A nearby bird flapped its wings loudly. A shadow split from the tree and disappeared from my sight. I looked away for just a moment, and when I turned my gaze to the same place, it was gone. So it was my imagination after all. Silence reigned for the painfully long time. Oh, it's just a mitten. Oh, those footsteps weren't there before. Oh, it was rustling. My muscles were tightly sprung. My heart was beating somewhere in my throat. Any noise, any little movement, any small whisper from the thicket, I'd sprint. But nothing of the sort happened. I looked at the mitten once more. Take it! I'm a brave boy. I can get it. I decided to take the lonely mitten from the branch. Oh, I'm speedy. Oh, wait. Vova! Oh, who's that? A shout rumbled across the field and dissolved into the distance. No echo, no hope for reply. Okay, maybe I should have ran. I don't know what that says. Who are you? Wait. Oh, I'm supposed to get it. Oh, okay. I clipped through like all too heavy wet. I squeezed in without hiding, thinking slipped from forming teeny sting between the mittens. Steam rose from the snow pile. Where's the mitten? I froze in place, studying my palms in disgust. Red. The sound of cracking branches invaded the silence. I didn't have to think twice before running away. Yes, run! Someone was chasing me from the darkness, breaking pine branches, closing the distance with giant leaps. Snow was slowing me down. Crazy thoughts flew my mind. I'll get caught. Go get me. I'll get dragged into the thicket. I'll be gone forever. But there was once more voice, probably one of reason. It gave me strength. It spurred me on. You can do it. Don't stop. You can do it. Run. I heard an animal roar behind me. It was so loud my ears went numb. I felt like as the sound had come from the pack of angry beasts rather than a single one. Their nostrils sucked in freezing air. They sensed my fear. Two giant wings flapped above my head. An enormous shadow flew over the clearing. A hoot, a wheeze. The roars were coming from all directions now. From the dried-up raspberry brush, from the twisted pines, from under the windfall. Hurry, run, don't look back. It felt like an inside a nightmare. The snowy clearing became a vicious like quicksand. I was stuck in place. I pulled my leg from the mushy trap just to get caught in a new one, even deeper than before. I continued to drown, sinking deeper and deeper with every desperate push. Was snow even sticky? I screamed in horror after realizing this wasn't snow. Someone or something in the snow pile was clutching my pants. I gathered all my strength and rushed forward. The pressure on my leg was gone, my boots slipped out of the hole, and my soles were on a hard surface again. I reached a clear path. With one jump from there, I ran to my house. Its gloomy facade did not look threatening now. The house was a line of defense from the shadows that flapped their wings and the creatures that were hidden under the snow. I tripped over the doorstep, smashed the door open. In a hurry, I still managed to notice the dark marks, as if a dog was striking the wood in its paws, demanding to be let out so it could escape the cold. I hadn't noticed those marks when I was leaving. The heartbeat in my ears was much louder than my surroundings. I couldn't hear whether someone was following me or not. What if they were already in the front yard and Mom had locked the door? Drowning in fear, I pulled up the doorknob and it obediently gave away. Close it. I'm out of breath. Woo! All right, that was fun. That was a good time. I love playing in the snow. I rolled the hallway and shut the door behind me. Porch planks creaked as my pursuers ascended the stairs. My fingers slipped off the lock and I couldn't click it into place. I gritted my teeth and pulled hard on the doorknob, whipping it between the boards. I stared blankly at the door. Someone was standing on the other side of the pitiful, flimsy barrier that was probably less useful than the blankets. Wheezing breath reached into the house and crashed at me in waves. It smelled of pine and sweat. Mom peeked out of the kitchen and cascaded me with the same frigid voice she always used when talking to Dad. What exactly didn't you understand when I told you never to slam the door? I didn't mean to. I snuck a glance at the door. The smell was gone and the breath was too. There was someone in the first place, of course. Here, mere 5 meters away from Mom, my fear was slowly weakening, melting like snow in spring, and with it the last bit of strength had gone, left my body too. My legs gave way. I propped myself up against the wall so I wouldn't fall over. Mom's expression had changed immediately. The cold mask of strictness and detachment was gone. Mom looked the same as before all those quarrels. She finally saw my condition, my wet pants, plastered with snow. Where have you been? What did I tell you, hun? I told you to stay home. Am I nothing to you, too? I got afraid she would cry. I reached out to her like I was very little and wanted to cuddle her. But Mom regained her composure fast and put on her usual face. Her eyes shined like steel. Her voice rang out. Your dad can't find his cigarettes. Be honest. Did you snatch them? Were you smoking in secret? There's someone chasing me, I thought. I shuddered as soon as I started explaining myself. Tears welled up in my eyes. Mom leaned toward me and sniffed my clothes like a beast, searching for the smell of tobacco. Then she squinted, her eyes in suspicion, and looked into the front yard. Her expression changed in an instant, and she covered her mouth with her hand. Look over there, at the fence! My heart started thumping as if I became prey once again and my pursuers were following me in the field. I could swear that I heard something scratch at the door just like in my nightmare. Mom beckoned me with her fingers and gathered all my remaining bravery to look into the kitchen window, facing my fear. I could barely discern some hairy silhouettes swooping in the snow through the icy winter patterns on the glass. Dogs! Just a small pack of strays with no name and owner, barely reminding of the hungry monsters that live on the edge of the forest. Oh boy, were you scared of them? I think they'd rather be scared of you, Anton. Yeah, they were chasing me like a bunny. And what if they're rabid? The smile had slowly disappeared from my mom's face. Now she looked as if if it was her first time seeing them. What if they attack Ola? Mom? I wish your dad could just shoot them all. Mom, look, they're alive. Huh? What? Are they your friend or foe after all? Make up your mind. You're not a little kid anymore. Well, some detective I am. I mean, I'm 12. I mean, scary dogs and bloody mittens in the snow. You can understand. And this whole family dynamic, you can tell I got some mental issues up here. In reality, I wasn't risking my life among the monsters, but rather my pants among a pack of stupid strays. And for what? What use do I have for this? Mitten. Of course! The dark and stricken mitten that belonged to the lost boy made a squishy sound in my hand. Seems like I was clutching it the whole time. That's my trump card as the detective. I hurried to present this clue to my mom. Mom, look, this is Vova's mitten. It's quite wet. That boy the police were asking about in the morning. It's drenched in blood. I found it hanging on a tree. I can show you where. Let's call the police right away, like the officer had told us to. Mom, look. Ew. A shadow of doubt slowly crept out on my mom's contorted face, as if she was trying to remember something distant, like someone tries to remember their dream, but the images slip away. Stop it, this moment. Mom, why are you mad, Mom? I didn't do anything. Ola will go insane if she hears you. She already has trouble sleeping and the whines all the time. And you joke around like this? At that moment, I realized the mitten was actually wet from snow. There was no blood whatsoever. I wanted to sink through the floor from embarrassment. Come here, my boy who cried wolf. Oh, don't just stand there. Come take your pills. A golden colored pill, reminiscent of a dead wasp, fell into my palm. I already took one during breakfast. Don't talk over me. I told you to stay home and you. Dad would have given you a good whipping for that. Come on, take it, or you won't be able to sleep at night and have school tomorrow. So I had to swallow the bitter medication, drinking it down with similarly for awful water that gave off a taste of chlorine. Maybe it wasn't Vova's mitten. Maybe it wasn't a mitten at all. Just like the forest monsters and Ola's owl. Am I going mad? Well, I'm not a doctor, but I think you're perfectly fine, kid. Oh, what's happening to me? Either the pill had an immediate effect or my overexerted brain didn't let fear inside anymore. I mean, this is as scary as it gets, Mama. Serenity washed over me, bringing yawning indifference along with it. Anton, you done? See, you can do it when you try. Take off your coat. Are you asleep? No, Mom, I was just thinking. What about, I wonder? It's just something silly. Mom scrutinized me with suspicious eyes, as if she wasn't sure she was looking at her own son and not some doppelganger that came from the forest. Is everything all right? You had the exact same suppression when the policeman asked you about the window. I'm all right, Mom. She heaved a deep sigh. Fine. Bye, Mom. Good seeing you. Good talk. Good talk. Thanks for the medicine. Seemed like the house had changed. The sofa's fabric had become discolored. Fingerprints appeared on the bathroom tiles. The light bulbs also felt different, dimmer and yellower. Even the saliva inside my mouth had a different taste. A melody from Alduin could be heard from the upper floor. Excuse me. Ola was done rewatching her favorite Little Mermaid episodes and switched to other tapes. I slowly changed into my home clothes. I stopped before the sink and studied my reflection in the mirror, like I was trying to solve one of those spot the difference puzzles. Then I went upstairs. Jafar's and Lago's voice died down. I walked past Ola's bedroom and slipped into my own. I see you over there. One of the drawers was empty. I had a mitten there. Oh, I hid the mitten there. This simple action drained the last bit of strength from me. I sat on the bed, and only then I noticed there was someone behind the curtains. My tired hand dropped to the sheets. Whether it was due to the medication I took or the stress I underwent, the room began to contort, as if the wind was blowing the walls out like a pair of sails. The corners of the room bent, undulated. The only stable thing in the whole room was a figure between the windowsill and the curtains. A flimsy piece of cloth was stuck on my hidden visitor. It reminded me of burial sheets. Ola? I stood up and licked my dried lips. Yeah, Ola, it's so funny. The silhouette was unmoving. It was enveloped softly by the curtains. As if there's a thick layer of darkness there, not a human being. I reached toward the curtains. Ba-dum, beat my heart, controlled by medication. The wind sang in the field, the chorus of voices. For a second, I wanted to return to bed, just lie down and watch the person behind the curtain, knowing fully well they were looking back at me. They were looking without blinking, waiting for me to fall asleep. Plastic rings rustled along against the holder when I pulled open the curtains. Huh? Oh, gotcha. I knew it was you from the beginning. A blindingly bright halo lit above Ola's head with the setting sun as the background. My sister was shining. When she was just a baby, Dad always used to say she was shining with happiness. I always retorted, but Dad, she's not some flashlight. But I brought her to the window one day and sunlight poured on her smiling face. I felt like she was holding a light, woven child. I saw everything. Oh, really? What did you hide? She was just like my mom when she was little, before she put her sad mask of tiredness and switched to her commanding tone of voice. It's nothing, just... Ola ran up to the table, her eyes round, and asked, "You stole something and hid it there? Are you a thief?" "What? Don't be stupid. I didn't steal anything." A clear image came to mind, that mitten hanging from the tree branch. What if I did steal it after all? From the forest, from the tilted figure standing behind the black trees. Ola could be selfish and stubborn when she wanted. "Then show me." "Swear that you won't tell anyone? Then I'll show you." Ola wore a plotting smile. "I swear on Mama's heart." An oath she heard in one of her movies about the pioneers we've watched. "Don't say things like that." Ola nodded and gave me a gesture with her hand, locking her mouth with an imaginary key. She was filled with curiosity that was splashing in her giant eyes. I opened the drawer and Ola leaned in, holding her breath. It looked like there was not just a simple mitten, but some sort of exotic critter. "Is this it? Someone's mitten?" She said that as if she couldn't understand what she saw. A certain boy lost it and got lost himself. Now, you do understand how dangerous it is for kids to wander into the forest, right? He must have been really cold out there. Will they find him? They will. The police are going house to house, showing his photo to everybody. Ola traversed the room with care and pressed her tiny palms against the window. And why are they going to the houses and not the forest? Are they scared? The question caught me off guard. The police aren't scared of anything. They're already scouted the forest. Yeah, right, flashed in my clouded mind. Did they really check every nook and cranny where the darkness, cold, and whispers of icy branches dwelled? If that's the case, how did they miss this mitten? Or did it appear later for me? I changed the topic, as if trying to get Ola as far away as possible from the forest thicket. We may get a reward if I go and find this boy by myself. A lot of stuff, like in the Wheel of Fortune. Sounds cool, right? Ola wasn't listening to me. She was piercing the forest with incredibly adult eyes, uncharacteristic for her. What if the owl got him? Nonsense. An owl won't be able to lift a human. But you know what? I was picking my words with utmost care. I forced them out by the overexerted brain. Stay away from the forest. I think it's... How should I put it? It's cursed or something. Oh, just like a fairy tale? No, more like the spooky tape our parents hide from us. Ola shivered and stole a glance at the window. I saw you running away. Someone was chasing you? No, it's just I was hurrying back home so Mom wouldn't be worried. As I looked, and my sister's heart was tearing apart. She was so fragile, it was so easy to stifle her light. A gust of wind, her small fire would be gone. You're lucky. Mom won't even let me go outside. I'm like a princess in the tower, can't go anywhere. I'll die from boredom here. You're wrong. No one has ever died from boredom, silly. And you have me and your cartoons, and Mom and Dad will be good to each other soon. You know what? I would wish for my next birthday. I'd wish for Mom and Dad to turn into children so we could go play together like we used to. That's kind of sad. I feel bad. Yeah, and if you'd make them as small as bugs, we could place them into a little box. Ola giggled and tugged at my sleeve. Tusha, let's go watch Alden. Fatigue won over my desire to be with my little sister. I was washed over by some sort of hideous apathy. I'm too tired. I don't want to. Come on. It's so boring alone, and Mom is always busy. We can pick up a cartoon you haven't seen before. I know all of our tastes by heart at this point. Not all of them. You haven't watched Peter Pan. Remember how you fell asleep in the middle of it? And so much happens after that. Let's go, let's go! Maybe a bit later. Should I tell you how it ends? Let's leave that for tomorrow. I won't tell you tomorrow. I know. Let's play hide and seek. No, Ola. Then draw me a Dino. Ola, please. Draw it! Draw it! Draw it! Draw it! Leave me alone already. I buried it out without thinking, and then I was immediately taken back. I'd never screamed at my little sister before like that. Ola stared back at me in shock. Her lips started trembling, a precursor to tears. My chest was seething with disgust and embarrassment. What's happening to me? I hurried to prevent Ola from crying. All right, you win. Let's go watch cartoons for a bit. I don't wanna. I came up to put my hand on her soft head. Let's go. Let's watch Peter Pan. Boo, you'll fall asleep again. I smiled and lifted her chin. Her eyes were wet and felt bottomless. I'll wipe that away. I promise I won't. And I'll draw you a full Triceratops later. Hooray! Triceratops. Well, close enough. Ola rubbed her eyes with the sleeve of her pajamas and a shining smile returned to her face. I'll go ask Mom for condensed milk and bread and you rewind the tape. The bread is fresh, just how you like it. Alright, just be careful not to spill the milk, or you'll be yelled at again. Wanna bet I won't spill it? The tape is somewhere in the nightstand. Look for it. Ola disappeared into the doorway and I dragged my feet into the neighboring room. Squeak. The scary window where Ola sees the accursed owl every night lurking in the dark. Ola keeps the curtains closed during the day, but as soon as the twilight comes back, she sets them tight so she wouldn't be able to see. Okay. Turn on? The old Phototon TV was gathering dust in the corner. What? What's my face look like that? All that was left was clicking the button on the front panel. The tube, warmed up familiar white noise, started dancing on the black screen. I almost reached out to turn the VCR when noise calmed and a blurry image appeared for a moment. It was a dark taiga forest, just like the one outside my window. The picture split the screen in half. Something creepy resembling human speech was coming out of the speaker. Just a few moments later, the scenery was again overshadowed by noise. Did it catch a rogue signal? Local TV station only really showed Soviet cartoons, and even that was pretty rare. And only just recently I used to always watch Robotech before school. It was so awesome. Maybe I should tinker with the antenna. What if I watch this channel again? On the other hand, Ola had asked me to find the tape. I want to be nice to disappoint her, but in my sleepy state, I didn't have the strength to do all of it. Oh, I mean, let's see what was on the antenna. The picture finally cleared up. I'm sure glad that it did. But the moment I rejoiced at finding that weird signal again, this TV started coughing, a voice barely coming through the coccyphone. He was often seen at the moment when small snowy hills were lined up on the screen, pierced with rickety crosses, and a male voice was narrating with a slow, mournful voice. It was pitch black night at the cemetery. In that fateful dark time, little Sienna met her fate at the face of a monstrous thicket dweller. The locals called him none other than the Forest Master. I froze and did my best not to move, as if by doing that could scare away the narrator. I listened closely to every word. The beast dwelt with the helpless girl in a masterful manner. Oh no, the camera panned across the snow with something black spilled over it, looking for ragged pieces of cloth or thrown all over the place. I didn't want to think whether Senya's remains were wrapped in there, so I shut my eyes without thinking. No, the voice continued. Wolves are rare guests in these parts. So, here's what Tamara, the old woman that lives in the nearby crypt, had to say. A close-up shot of a face of an old, homeless woman, weary from life and alcohol abuse, rattled on the screen. Yes, yes, such a fearsome beastie it is, worse than the rising dead. The old woman splatted saliva all over the rectangular mic. Oh, what was that? And the stink, it's like. The rest of her comparison was swallowed up by a sound of a horn. I never felt anything like that. It was just standing there. Yes, right there, behind you. Where you stand, boyo, and pierced me through its eyes right in the middle of day. Was so huge, that one, with glassy eyes. Obscenities were covered by another beep. You know, they say if this demon lays its eyes on you, he'll snatch you. Yeah, put you in his bag and you're done. He won't touch me. Likes me, it seems. So they even call me the Devil's Winch. And it's definitely true. The carnivorous monster will not touch those who fell to the level of the forest beast, going for the innocent child's blood instead. The Forest Master's presence is felt more and more on the outskirts of our country. Torn between believing in what was said and struggling away, I decided to record the remaining part of the documentary for some reason. I quickly grabbed the tape that was on top of the TV and put it into the VCR without even looking at the cover. What you want to bet that is Peter Pan? I pressed record and turned on the sound and paid attention. Whoa. It's not called the Forest Masters for nothing. All of the animals obey it, but if they're hairy or furry, they're all precursors for its appearance. If you hear howls in the distance, then it's most likely already knows where you live. If you find animal prints all over your doorstep, birds watching you from the trees, you better hide. It's already coming for you. And if you wake up at night and see a pair of eyes in your window, then soon. When? Then soon. And soon. And soon. Soon. Ooh, soon. Okay. The TV suddenly went mad and looped the last word over and over, piercing my ears. Oh, no. I got goosebumps all over my spine. The tape ended with rewinding to the beginning. The sound of rustling tape reminded me of the leaves and the wind and the low howl of the beast. I woke up from a stupor and pressed the button. The VCR ejected the tape. For a moment I thought it was stained with saliva, but that was just the light from the chandelier making the black plastic glossy. And then I saw the cover. Oops, I recorded over Peter Pan. Yeah, maybe, although we don't want to watch this one today. That's what I get for hurrying. It was bad enough that I ruined Ola's cartoon, but I also put this creepy stuff over it. Can't let her see this. We'll drown in tears. I snuck a glance at the door. I could hear the clatter of glass and the squeaky floorboards. Ola appeared in the doorway. You haven't started without me, have you? My sister brought the tray with unevenly cut bread and a whole can of condensed milk. No, I have not started at all. I've not seen any of this movie. Maybe we want to watch something else, though. I was looking for the tape. Do you really want to watch Peter Pan? I do. Turn it on already. Mom will come watch her Brazilian drama soon. Come on, think, fake detective. You know, I didn't like Peter Pan. Maybe we should watch Little Mermaid instead. I've already seen it so many times. And you promised me. She's so stubborn. I know. Let's watch a couple of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles episodes first. Deal? Ola frowned, but ultimately gave up. She put down the tray and crossed her hands over the chest. If you want it so much, can you open the canned milk? I'm afraid I'll cut myself with the sharp edges. As soon as I stood up, colorful dots popped up between my eyes, and my sore legs were pierced by thousands of needles. Only when I reached the sofa, I realized that the can was already open. Ola had tricked me, played me for a fool. Ola, no, don't put that tape in. My stomach became heavy. I wanted to rush toward the TV, but my little sister was faster. She picked up the remote and proclaimed in a victorious tone, Gotcha, gotcha, gotcha. As the remote's master, I command you to watch Peter Pan. Oh, I couldn't even open my mouth, and the VCR was already eaten the accursed tape. She'll play it, and then black crosses of unnamed graves, empty crypts, bloody scrapes of the snow, insane devil's winch. I'd better tell the truth. Ola, stop! I erased the end of your tape by accident. I'll trade it with you for 2 of mine. What do you mean? You couldn't erase it. Me and Dad had broken off all the plastic pins with the screwdriver. You couldn't record anything over my cartoons now. My little sister pressed the triangle play button on the remote. I squeezed on inside, awaiting the out-of-the-world voice of the narrator, but I saw the duel between Peter Pan and Captain Hook instead. I sighed in relief, my head heavy as a leaden ball now resting on my hands. Ola smiled in joy. She put the tape on rewind and started spreading milk over the bread. Wait, put milk on bread? And when the cartoon started, she forgot everything in the world. As if she really got transported to the Netherland like she always wished. To be honest, I also imagined myself there, in a land where no one ages, where no one argues over little things, where no one listens to fights and the sound of broken plates at night. But now Peter Pan's land was especially far away from me. My thoughts dragged on, stumbled upon the horned beast that awaited me among the trees, and the narrator's mournful voice haunted me, sliding into bushes and ravines. Like a weaned carnivore would track its prey. It felt like I was dreaming with my eyes still open. Then my sister's scream pulled me back to reality. Tusha, shut the curtains fast. Well, why? No one's watching you. It's dark, and when it's dark, the owl comes. I'm scared. I got out of bed, fighting my drowsiness, and closed the curtains. Close those curtains. I did my best not to look outside toward the treetops, toward the taiga forest, which seemingly drew closer and closer. Of course, it was just a visual effect of the shadows and branches scraping the snow. Tisha, Mom thinks I made up the owl. And Dad, too, thinks I'm a liar since I'm small. But the owl exists. Honestly, it does. You do believe me, right? That it comes every night and... I swiftly grabbed Ola's hand and looked her in the eyes. I was trying to transfer at least some of my courage and determination. But did I really have those qualities? Yes, I believe you, all right? Just don't nag our parents about it anymore. They're already dealing with a lot, so they'll get mad at you. Come and tell me if anything happens, and don't look out the window. But if it wants to look... Doesn't matter. Act like it doesn't exist and never existed, like it's made up, just like Mom and Dad said. It'll get tired of waiting and fly away. I sure hope it does. Oh. We followed Peter Pan's adventures as if nothing happened, as if the forest didn't kidnap kids, as if our parents weren't tearing each other apart bit by bit. Everything is okie dokie in this house. Captain Hook was running away from a crocodile, and Captain Pan was headed to London. By some miracle, I lasted longer than my sister. Ola's eyelids had dropped. She started snorting lightly, resting her chin on the inside of the bed. The chorus was singing the ending of a song. The world of Disney was lit by a silvery moon. Oh no. Another moon peeked from under the first one. Scary wand bringing over the taiga forest. The horrific report got recorded right over the credits. My throat went dry. My pulse became faster. I looked toward Ola. She smacked her lips in sleep. I squeezed the remote with all my might, ready to press stop at any moment. I rewound the recording, checked if it was intact, and then carefully took out the tape. The protective pin was still in place. I stood up and left Ola's room. Whether it was by providence or by curse, I hid the tape alongside the mitten at the exact moment Mom peeked into my room. Curse tape! Oh, hey, Mom. Enough playing around. It's your first day at school tomorrow. Go to bed. You should sleep properly. You don't want to be teased for being sleepy, right? No, I don't want to be teased, or do you have any nightmares about that? Adults think everything's so simple, and if a sound sleep would ensure my classmates would like me. I covered myself with a blanket up to my neck and listened to the house humming, to something invisible rustling in the corners. My inner voice had a question for me. Do I want to hear the mysterious flute again? Yes or no? No, I don't want to hear the mysterious flute. Maybe it's just part of growing up. I can't fully understand my own desires. A forest wailed behind the barrier that was my walls. Some eternal entity wandered the fields. Branches shook as if calling for me. The wind howled on in the night. My thoughts were like annoying flies that entered my head before becoming weak and tangled. I didn't notice how I fell into slumber. It has come, after all. The day I feared the most, the first day of a new school term. All right, guys, that's all the time I have for today. Hopefully you enjoyed episode 1. If you guys did, make sure to smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, click the bell notification, and drop down in the comments below if you want to see more of this game or any other horror games you would like to recommend and see me play. And I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace.